right, guys, we're back. We're doing a quick episode for you guys. Road to the UFC's episodes 1, 2, 3, and 4 are live this week, Thursday and Friday morning. I'm your host, PicksByPegasus. I'm here with Dravy. Key couldn't make it for this. He's too busy focusing on low-level girls MMA in other organizations. So we're going to take care of this for you guys. We'll break down each card really quickly. I think Drav and I both did more tapes on 1 and 2 than we got to on 4 and 5. Just a lot going on in a little time in the week. But also give sides and picks that I like for 4 and 5. But my breakdown probably won't be as great.
Yeah, I did 1 and 2 in total, but 3 and 4 I only did like 3 or 4 fights. So yeah, we can talk about like a couple fights, but I'm not gonna have strong opinions.
All right, so let's get into the first fight here. We'll just get started. Share screen. First fight is a familiar face. It's Zhao Ken Fang versus Arisa Matsuda. Zhao Ken Fang is 10-3. Matsuda, I'm not going to go through like all that shit. I don't think we have to do that. Two girls, both on the card. It's opening the card. Fang, as you know, she's the girl that got knocked out by the doctor in one of the UFC cards. Arisa Matsuda is a old pro baseball player that is now in a MMA fight. Line on Fang is minus 405. Matsuda is plus 340. Personally, I was trying to get myself onto the Fang side, but after seeing the boxing of Matsuda in tape, kind of got me to stay away. Plus at minus 400, I have no interest in playing Fang, to be honest with you. Opening line seemed fine, but now it's out of hand. What do you think, Drav?
Yeah, it's also not a fight that I have much interest in. If anything, I would take the dog shot because, you know, she's plus 335, which is kind of massive. Feng, I think, is good, and she's going to be much bigger here. And, you know, she's only 23 years old, so we can see improvements. But I think there's some weaknesses to her game in the takedown defense, and the fact that sometimes she can be low volume, and the fact that she doesn't really move her head. And, you know, she got knocked out brutally in her last fight. It was like one of the nastiest KO I've seen for women's MMA. Head kick KO in round 3, but she was doing good prior to that. But the girl that she got that she lost against, I think, is kind of similar level to this girl. So, and they're similar size. So this girl that she's fighting is former baseball player, right? So I think her movement in her boxing is actually pretty decent, but sometimes she doesn't throw a lot of volume, and her ground game seems all right. But I've seen her lose minutes off her back when she's getting taken down. And she's 6-0, but honestly, the fight against Fudoka, she won a split, but she clearly lost it in that fight. And, you know, that's like the best fighter she fought. So the time she got to step up in competition, she should have lost. She clearly lost round 3. She got held down on the ground and lost the round there. And round 1 and 2 were pretty close, not much happening. And then her other opponents were like 0-0, 0-0, 0-0, 1-3, and then 18-12. So, yeah, not that bad, but that girl is now 41 years old that she beaten. So yeah, I just don't think she's all that, but sometimes these fight, a lot of weird shit can happen. But I think Fang's gonna get it done, but there's probably some value on this underdog, but there's also a lot of unknowns. So yeah.
All right, next fight is Wataru Yamauchi versus Namsarai Batbayar. These guys, odds in these two, you can get Bayar plus 125. Yamauchi is minus 145. Real quick for me, low confidence play here. Don't really have too much interest, but I think Namsari's a better wrestler, better grappler. I think there's a clear upside for him on the ground. That reason, he's got knockouts before, but he definitely leans more to his submission game. Trying to think, where did I have this tab? The only thing is with I think Yamauchi is going to be the much better striker. So I think this is just a lot of these fights are becoming wrestler versus grappler versus striker. So I'm just going to say Namsarai by submission. That's what I like. He's plus 125. He gets a little bit wider. I'll play it, but I think he's the side here. What do you think, Drav?
Yeah, it's a fight I think it's hard to get a good read on because there's some unknowns, and that's the case for a lot of these fights, by the way. There's other fights where you can watch a lot and have a good read on them, but this one is kind of tricky for me. I'm gonna read you guys my notes because I've wrote some notes for these fights, and I don't have much like Yamochi, I've wrote good leg kicks. That's something that I've noticed on tapes. He's also a fast striker. I think he does good work in the pocket. But there's a lot of his fights that are 2 rounds fight. I don't know if you noticed, but he has some decision, but 2 rounds fight. So that's a bit tricky. And then but Bayer on the other side, I think his takedowns are explosive. He's very aggressive, taking the back and going for rear naked choke. But at the same time, he doesn't have really good top control. He's very hittable on the feet. He swing. He don't really give a fuck. He's a madman with power. And he's a classic Mongolian. That's what I wrote in my notes.
Very much.
Fight, bro. So I think the leg kicks could be an issue here with the way I've seen him fight and the way Yamochi is very good with them. And yeah, he almost sub 2-man dem barrel in round 1.
Yeah,
he had the back rear naked choke attempt, so that was good. That's his best position, the back take. But then after that, he lost in round 2 got submitted himself, which is not the best look against the only decent fighter that he fought, and the other wins are not great. I said the volatile fight could only bet the under, but I don't think we're
not getting props for these.
We're not gonna have totals on that. So I ended up picking Yamochi to win, but I've wrote big pass on it because again, it's a fight where I think it's very tricky. But I think Yamochi is gonna win, but I think the line should be close to pick him. I don't think there's and it is close to pick him right now. It is Yamochi's minus 145, which I'm not even sure I agree. I think he should be like minus 120, minus 125. So yeah, to me overall it's just a pass, but that's my thoughts on the fight.
Yeah, I think people what they got to be careful with this is round 1, and we're watching a bunch of prospects that you either can't find tape on, you only can find highlight reels. Like, it's very hard. And then a lot of times their opponents are getting put up against. They could be staged fights, they could be set up. So it's like this early round, be cautious with who you bet on. Make sure you bet on the right people because it's very easy to get burned here, especially with people are going to lay crazy chalk odds in parlays like me, and you're going to get burned by a minus 400 who ends up looking plus 200. So just keep that in mind when you're going through these fights. You don't have to bet this week. You'll have better chances later on in episodes. Next fight, Kichiro Nakamura versus Eho Jin Park, or what they call Young Boss. Right now,
it's funny, bro. All these tapes you watch, they always like the names boss under the screen. It's always Young Boss. You're like,
I love that. Yeah, that's what's it called? Black Combat, right?
I'm not sure, but
I think that's what it's called. I think it's called Black Combat. Yeah, Black Combat.
Oh yeah,
it's actually a very big promotion, by the way. Black Combat in Asia. It's actually pretty well respected. But yeah, Young Boss versus Nakamura. Line on this, Nakamura took a lot of juice. He was plus 420 opening. Now he's plus 180. Jin Park is minus 240 to minus 250. I already know Drav and I disagree here. I'm on Park. I think Park, if he wrestles, will have more success here against Nakamura. Nakamura has heavy hands, decent striker, but you got to remember Jin Park. The thing that stands out, he's like 6'3", I think, or something like that.
No, he's not 6'3".
He looks like he's 6'3". He's huge for the weight class. He's 6 feet tall at it's not bantamweight, right?
No, it's featherweight.
Featherweight. And then Nakamura is like 5'10". I think that's the only issue. I might be thinking of the other Park.
Personally, I've seen the face-off, bro, and I mean he's a bit bigger, but
yeah, but that was my thing. Is the size is going to be there. He throws good straight long punches, keeps at the distance, can mix in the wrestling. Nakamura swings for the fences, but other than that, I don't really rate him that well. I also don't like his wins as much. I think Park's been on a better promotion as well. Some of Nakamura's wins are on like crazy, weird organizations, and he's also only 5-1 versus 9-1-1. And people are investing a lot of money in Park over or Young Boss over in the Black Combat. So I think it's kind of, I don't want to call it a setup fight, but it kind of feels that way. But like I said, Nakamura definitely has one punch power, and if it stays standing on the feet late, it could look pretty bad. But I think Park, as long as he mixes in the wrestling, keeps his range, and uses those straight long punches, he should be fine here against Nakamura. Drav, why do you like Nakamura here?
Yeah, I just think the line's too wide, personally, bro. I mean, I'm not that high on this Park guy. I know a lot of people are. I mean, yeah, he's a bit bigger. Like you said, he's 6 foot, and I think Nakamura is like 5'9", but they have like the same reach. Nakamura is a southpaw, and watching the tapes on it, Park, I think he maintained range well at time, and he has good elbows in the clinch. That's what I've noticed in his striking. Um, his wrestling is decent, and he seems to have a good ground game with what I've seen. But I don't think he like being pressured on the feet, bro. You don't like that, so you need to pressure him, and that's what Nakamura does, which I think make the matchup tricky. And I don't think his takedowns are that good. And I think Nakamura is potentially more physical than him. So yeah, I think it make it kind of interesting. I think he could be more athletic. He could sprout on takedown. What I've seen, and Park, he's not that dangerous, bro. Like he doesn't have the best top control either. So it's not like you get a takedown and then the fight's over. I don't really see that. He got cracked in round 1 against Junk, and he got hurt in round 3 in that fight a little bit. So that's not a good look to me. And he get takedowns after he could get takedowns after he hurt. If Nakamura hurt him, maybe he take him down. That's what he's gonna try to do. But if you get hurt and then you try to take him down and it doesn't work, I think he's gonna get finished. Again, I understand why he's the favorite. Based on the wrestling upside, the more proven cardio, the better level of competition. I make him the favorite, no doubt. But watching into Nakamura, I just think there's you need to do a lot of research to have like a decent read on him. I feel like. I've watched his Instagram. By the way, I'm pretty sure this guy is the brother of Rinya Nakamura. I don't know if you guys know that. I don't.
Is it true? I was wondering that because I saw the last names were the same.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched his Instagram, and I did the translate of what he was saying in his language, and basically he has pictures with Rinya, and he said that's his brother, and he was there with him 5 weeks. So I'm pretty sure that's his brother, or if it's not his brother, they're pretty close. So that's good because we know how good Rinya Nakamura wrestling is, and I think for him to practice that on a daily, we're going to see improvement. The kid is still young at the end of the day, so that's a little something that I don't think people know about. And then he's also training at Bangtan Muay Thai for the last couple of years. So for his striking, I think it's good because, like I said, he's a southpaw. I think he has big power, but he's hittable. That's my concern. Like in the pocket, he could get cracked. He's getting hurt. He's getting clipped pretty bad, but he's shown a good chin. But he's fighting bad competition and he get clipped, so that's a concern. But personally, I don't think Park's the guy to make him pay for that. And I found a fight where he got dominant on the mount and he got caught in a crucifix. But in that fight, he survived. Actually, he escaped the crucifix after like being in bad position for a couple minutes. And then he smashed the guy with nasty ground and pound. And to me, it showed me heart, and it showed me that he can, even if he has to fight adversity, he can still win the fight. So that's something that, even if he's green and only 5-1, that's something that I like to see as for a fighter personally. The fight versus Murata, he got hurt, he hurt him, and then you go for the kill in combos. And I think the way when he hurt somebody, like he see red, and he really won that finish. So, but again, he has no defense when he does so. So that's a concern. But again, that guy that he got kind of clip against, that guy has no KO on his resume. So that's just something to take note of. I think this guy at some point, if he doesn't, upgrade his defense, he's gonna get clipped at some point. But I just don't think it's a matchup where he's gonna get clipped against. Very fast, nasty with the counters that I've noticed. He clearly has big ground and pound, big power on the feet and on the ground, and he check leg kicks. And he made the guy fall with checking the leg kick, so he knows what he's doing. And the way he goes to the body and he unload in combination, I think it's pretty good. So yeah, I just think his striking is pretty good, honestly. And he reversed a takedown attempt that I've saw. He defends some takedown. He shows some good sprawl. I don't think his grappling is that good. I don't think he's super good off his back. But again, we're gonna need Park to wrestle. He does and his tapes, but I don't think he wrestle a lot, and I don't think his wrestling is that good. And if Nakamura can stuff his takedowns, I think he's gonna make him uncomfortable. And I'm pretty confident that Nakamura is gonna try to pressure him. And I've seen Park not being great on the back foot. So, and again, Nakamura is clearly the better striker to me. Clearly has more power. And yeah, the way he goes to the body and the way he unload combination, I think he can win either on damage or getting the KO here. So I just think the line is too wide. I think Park should be like -150. and he's like minus
Would you
250,
play him at
minus
plus 180 here for the people watching, or would you hold off?
I think there's still plus 200 on the market on like DraftKings and something, but yeah, plus 200 or better. I think it's a decent bet.
Cool.
Because yeah, the odds that I show you that I play at first, that's not the odds that I track, and I had it at a different number. So yeah, I'm gonna give you guys a bet on that podcast, and that's gonna be this one. I've played Nakamura, but yeah, I play plus 230. That's the numbers that I've tracked. Yeah, plus 230.
Okay.
Yeah. Plus 235,
Gotcha.
plus 230. Let me just check for the people watching. Yeah, plus 230. That's the number that I officially track. And yeah, again, I think he should be like plus 120, plus 125. So there's unknowns about his cardio and him getting extended and fight. But with what I've seen, I don't think he's a gasser. So we'll see. But I think there's some potential here. And I just think this Park guy probably a bit overrated going into this fight.
All right, let's go to our next fight here. Next fight is going to be Yin Shuai versus Kai Yoshida. Line on these two guys, Yin Shuai is minus 240. Yoshida is plus 205. Personally, I'm on the Yin Shuai side. In that sense, I think he could find a finish, but I think he probably most likely finds a decision here. I think he's a much better fighter. If you go back and look, like he lost to that split decision to Sahota, where I debatably think he could have won that fight. I'm actually relatively high on Sahota. I think he's pretty good. I think he's going to be in one of these upcoming episodes, possibly. And then other than that, like he's pretty good across the board. He's got a good sub game. He can strike as well. Yoshida wasn't really impressed by him. I think like some of the competition was low level that he fought. Like, look at this: 16-21, 2-0, 7-2, not 7-9-1. So he's like 3-0. So I just don't think the strengthening schedule is there for him. Just like when Schwa has been on the road to UFC already. So with that experience, I don't mind minus 240. I wouldn't. You could parlay him maybe. We won't get a decision prop or anything, but I think he probably wins a decision here pretty well. What do you think, Joff?
Give me a second. There's something with my chair.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll talk about this for a bit, I guess. Let's take a look here. What can we talk about? This is bad for mic time. Let's go take a little deeper dive on. Oh, all these guys got funny nicknames. Like this guy's the Black Panther. We got Black Panther. We got Black Cobra. We got Blue Devil. We got Young Boss. We got all these crazy names. What do you think, Drop, for this one?
There's some fun names, bro. This fight, I'm kind of mad about the line because I think Yin's a good spot, but I think the line is probably accurate. But there's some things about this fight. I mean, first of all, Yoshida is moving down to 125 for the first time in his MMA career, which I think is going to be good for him because at 135, he was clearly not in the right weight class. He's tall, he's long, but the guy was not like he didn't look like a fighter. I mean, he's not strong, and these guys in the grappling could just maul him. They were just too strong for him. I don't think his takedown defense is that bad, but on the ground he's really not good. To his credit, he's kind of a dog in the sense that I've seen him in very bad spot with his rear naked choke, and the guy had his back, and he still find a way to survive and won. But there's also another fight where he got choked out. So I don't think this guy is all that personally, but he's a southpaw. He has some decent striking. He's a karate. I think he's a karate black belt or something. The way he fights is like he's too low volume for me, but good kicks. And when he sit on his punches, he's razor fast. That's what I've noticed. But when he gets taken down, the way he gets his back taken almost every fight against bad competition, it's a bad look. But yeah, I think him at 125 could be something, and he's gonna get exposed on the ground again. But yeah, to his credit, he fight hard and he tried to fight the ends, etc. So he's not a quitter. But there's a lot of tapes that dudes are under his neck and they don't finish the choke. At the higher level, they will finish that choke. So yeah, I just don't think this guy is good, but his striking's all right. And again, that's another guy that have a couple of 2 rounds fight, and he never fought a 3-round fight in his career. So there's something to take notes of. And he doesn't throw in combos. I don't like that. He's always like one shot at a time. But yeah, overall, I think he's a decent striker. But him moving down to 125, I think could be good. And Yen, that's his second attempt on the Dana White Contender Series. He landed nine takedowns the first fight. He lost a split, and he was a favorite last time he fought. That was against Saota. Like you said, he could have maybe won. And bro, I've noticed this guy is kind of crazy in round one. He goes out there and he clips these people with left hook and he throw big bombs and all that. So he's dangerous in round one. I think his cardio is also great for 3 rounds. And, you know, he's just a way, way better grappler here. He could dominate the grappling. And on the feet, I think he could also knock him out in the first round. As the fight extends, he's not as dangerous on the feet. That's what I've noticed, though. But Kai Yoshida, the guy he's fighting, I just think he's lazy with his leg kicks and he has like bad defense. So I wouldn't be surprised if Yen just catch him on the feet and he could also submit him on the ground. So yeah. And I said he won round 3 in that fight, landing multiple takedowns, doing black. Yeah. So the Dana White Contender Series fight, I also thought that he won round 1 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
And after landing multiple takedowns in round 3, the guy was doing backflip at the end of the fight. So he clearly, like, he's not a gasser. And he's shown a really good chin in the fight that I've watched. So, and he showed good cardio for 3 rounds. Fight IQ, maybe not the best sometimes. He can lose minutes off his back, but that's just not a guy. That's not a fight where it's going to matter. And I said he landed some killer 1-2 in round 1 against a lot of these people. And he has good chain wrestling. So I think he's going to be fine here. I've rolled that I wanted under -200 to play him. So now the line's a bit higher than that. But yeah, we're probably not getting totals. But if we do, I think the under could be good because I think he's going to finish this dude. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think he's safe to parlay, though. I will say that. But I'm also a little bit of a degen parlayer myself. Next fight. This is, I guess, the main event of this card. It's a Bear Gang. I'm not even going to try that first name. And then it's versus Sebastian Slay. Sebastian Slay is the eternal MMA champion at bantamweight right now. Has been for a while. Odds these 2 gentlemen. Slay is anywhere from -140.
Featherweight.
Featherweight. -150 to -170. Bear Gang is +129 to +130. I like Slay here. I think that line is fine. Reason said, he's a good striker. He's got good wrestling. He's good everywhere. He really is. He's good everywhere. Eternal MMA does produce great prospects. One of the key things I noticed, if you go look at Sebastian Slay, he's been, like I said, a champion there. He's got 5-round fights. He's been fighting 5-round fights. I think his past 3 fights, I want to say it was. I think. And that being said, listen, he's going 5 rounds. And Barragang, he's a very strong wrestler. He tries to wrestle a lot. And if you go back, and I think it was the Malone fight where he won the split decision, he defended a ton of takedowns there, and Malone's a pretty good wrestler. So I think if he defends the takedowns, keeps his standings, Slay should have a pretty easy fight ahead of him. What do you think, Drav?
Yeah, I think Sebastian should get it done. I actually think he's pretty good. He's a freestyle MMA guy, so he's under Volkanovski and Lopez, the coach of Volkanovski, which I like. And you can see he's very intelligent, very good footwork. He has like that boxing karate stance, and the way he fight and he throw in combos, I really like. And yeah, I think he's solid. I don't think he's that big for 145 though, but his opponent is normally a bantamweight, and he's taking this on a week notice, and he's moving up to 145. But I don't think he's going to be like undersized by any mean. But yeah, this dude Sebastian, he's a good striker, technical. He switched stances a lot, very good feints, and he's very good and fast at countering people. He goes to the body a lot, which I like. He hurt the guy Malone. He hurt him twice to the body in their fight, and he has nasty combos in close range. Good in the clinch with the knees, good takedown defense, but I think his grappling could be something here because Jaleezy is probably going to try to grapple, and if he does, I think he could have success on top. I'm not sure why Sebastian last fight was a split decision. He clearly won round 1, 2, and 5 clear, and round 3 could have gone either way, so I don't really understand that. He lost round 4, and he got dominated on the ground, by the way. But he's shown he's not a quitter. He came back in round 5 strong, and he hurt that guy. So it was good for me to see because he showed me he showed me 5 rounds cardio twice, and he showed me that even when he has adversity in fights and he needs to come back deep in fights, he can do that for 5 rounds. So that's pretty good. He got dropped in round 1 against Gillies, but he recovered well. He managed to win that fight. So yeah, I will say though, he looked way better in his last fight compared to the one that I've talked about, Gillies. And it was a year between the two. So we see this guy improving. He's like 32 now, and I think he's entering his prime. So yeah, I think he's pretty good. And Gilisi, he's a guy that got dropped in round 1 against Xavier. And he was getting countered pretty bad early on in that fight. And I think that's something to note here because I've said Sebastian really nasty with the counter. So that's going to be something. And Xavier, the guy that he lost to, did he lost? So he got this. It was a split, right? Let me just confirm. I think he got the split. Yeah, he got the split there. Xavier is a good fighter, by the way, but I'm not sure he should have won that fight. But it was a split. And like I said, he got hurt in round 1, but he was getting counter in the pockets and he struggled with the speed. And I think this fight is going to look similar to that one. Gilisi is going to try to pressure, but I think he's going to get counter and it's going to be at a speed disadvantage. And Xavier also kind of dropped him again in round 3. He hurt him a little bit, and I think Xavier should have won. That's his third attempt on road to UFC for Gilisi, which I don't like because if that's your third attempt, it's like Dana White Contender Series. Maybe you're not at that level, but I think he's all right. But again, I've noted against you, his last fight or the fight prior, he's getting counter again early on. So that's a guy who I think is going to be at massive speed disadvantage here and get counter. But his stop game and grappling is good. So that's my worry. If he gets Sebastian down, he could win and maybe finish. But yeah, he was getting out physical by you. Who's a 135er, but again, a good grappler. So it's a little bit weird of a fight, but I think Sebastian's going to win. I'm trying to time my entry here. I have some interest betting him, but I think the line is not. I don't think there's value at minus 150. I think that's where he should be because, again, Gilisi is more experienced. He has grappling upside, so I don't really want to fade him too much. But at the same time, I think Sebastian's the better fighter, training at the better camp, the better striker, and I think his counters and his speed's going to be on the money. But we'll see. I could be wrong, but it's a fight where I would be interested to have Sebastian in the UFC more than this guy. But yeah.
Right. So now we are moving on to episode 2. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. A lot of people aren't doing content for this, but guys like me and Drav, we're always grinding, right, Drav? We're always grinding. Key, always not grinding. Key, not grinding. He's on vacation. Next fight to open up the card is a big prospect in Mansour Kara versus Aziz Kadyrov. This is going to be a good fight. Behind these two gentlemen, you can get, let me go find this. You can get Kadyrov anywhere from plus 190 to plus 225. You can get Kara anywhere from minus 225 to minus 280. This is one where me and Drav, I think, disagree again. I like Kara personally. I think he's going to be, this is a very interesting fight because Kara is a very good wrestler, grappler. Kadyrov is going to have much better striking. I think the difference is where they're training and the level of competition, right? So Kara is one of these guys who's in he's fighting in Fury and in CFFC, and Kadyrov has got that weird Russian fluff kind of record going on. But also Kara, although I think he's representing the American flag here. I think they have him here because it's like supposed to be like India. So they call him the Dravhy Prince. I think he's going to be very wrestling dependent. I would have played him at a smaller odd, like minus 150 around there. Minus 225 seems like where the line should be, just because I think he does have a massive wrestling upside and he's going to be able to grapple and could probably find a sub. If it stays on the feet, Kara's probably in trouble. Aziz is a pretty good striker, but that being said, grappler versus striker, I'm going to take the guy with probably the better gym, better competition, more on the MMA scene in the US is better than China, I think, personally. So, yeah, that's why I think Kara is, but probably minus 225 is exactly where I'd line it, so I don't think there's much value here. What do you think, Drav?
You don't think his last win is great?
Whose last win?
Aziz.
I mean, his last one was, but I was talking more about like the rest of his record. Like if you go back and look, like 15-20, 2-3. This guy's 21-3, where he lost a split decision. I can't remember if I watched it. I watched so many fucking tapes on these guys that I don't remember which ones I watched.
I feel you. But yeah, bro, his last win's pretty good. If you look, that guy is.
But either way, 11-9, 21-8, 3-2.
Yeah, I mean, he has some bad names under there, but I mean, the guy has 27 pro fights, so we're gonna see some bad record. It's just that's the way these guys fight normally. But I mean, the win against the last guy, Mulatabiek, is 19-3. That guy, and he's pretty good. So he beat that guy, and then he has another win against the guy he beat him twice, actually. That's kind of weird. The rematch again. He's 29-9. I don't really know. 21-9. I don't know him, but his losses, bro. The guy that he lost the split against, Belagin, is 25-5, and that guy just lost to the guy that what's his name? Kadyrov just beat the guy that I told you is good, right? So that guy just lost to the other guy. So that's his last loss, the split decision, right?
Yeah.
And after that, if you want to see another loss of his, you need to go all the way back 9 years ago in 2016. And he lost to a guy who's 19-4 right now. And the other guy that he lost is 13-16. So his losses are not bad either. And they are a long time ago. And the way I see this fight, there's concerns, obviously, because he's a bit inactive. But I just think we have a well-rounded fighter against a guy who's a grappler. And one of them is a big underdog. Like Aziz, I think he's well-rounded. He's fast. He's a flashy striker. I think his wrestling is good. I think his scramble is good. Cardio checked out. But yeah, the problem is he can be taken down. And he will engage in the grappling. So he lost minutes off his back in round 3 against the guy Multabiek that I've mentioned, and round 1 and 2 against Billie Jean fights. Concerning for him in that fight. But yeah, I think he could maybe lose a decision, but I'm not sure he's going to get submitted. He's a BJJ black belt. He seems to have good submission defense with what I've seen, and his submission loss are, again, like 10 years ago. He has a chance to win this as a big underdog, and I said if he's a big underdog, I'm probably going to be betting him. That's what I wrote in my notes. And then Kara, on the other hand, he's a very high-level BJJ guy. I think his top game is nasty, good back take, and he added some ground and pound recently, which I think it's pretty good. But bro, his striking is a work in progress. To give him some credit, because it's not great, and he didn't really fight a lot of guys that were able to strike with him for a long period of time, and that couldn't make him pay. Not to say Aziz gonna knock him out, because he only has 1 KO, but Aziz has some power and he has some flashy stuff that I don't think Kara is gonna be prepared for. And again, to me, it's like Aziz is gonna win the striking. Like how do I say that? It's like probably 80%, 20%, or 90%, 10% the striking in favor of Kadyrov. And in the grappling, it's like Kara's probably gonna win the grappling, but I think Kadyrov is the better wrestler of the two, and I'm not sure Kara is going to submit him if he can get on top. So I understand why Kara is the favorite. Again, I think he's gun to my head. I think he's going to win a decision, but I think the line should be closer to pick him, honestly, and it's not. And Kadyrov is 3 years younger. He has way more MMA experience, and again, he's the more well-rounded fighter, but Kara has some good wins on his resume, and he's clearly a beast on the ground. So it's a really good matchup, though. I'm interested to see how it's going to play out, but I think it's going to be a close decision either way. So dog or pass for me on that one.
All right. We'll do our next fight here. It's Aaron Tao is back. If you guys remember him, he's got the crazy face tats from the Contender series. And then we have Rio Turto, the Black Cobra. Black Cobra, not let's see. Black Cobra's line plus 550. Aaron Tao minus 750 to minus 900. Clear setup spot. Tao's gonna knock him out. Cobra, not real. Tao, very good. We saw him. He's on the Contender series fight against Elijah Smith. He swings and bangs. He could do it for 15 minutes, throws heavy punches. He'll shoot takedowns. He does it all. He's one of those New Zealand guys. He's very good. He's very strong. He is down a weight class, I believe. I think this is at 125, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it is.
So, yeah, I mean, as long as Tao beats the scale, I think he beats Turto pretty easily. What do you think, Drav?
Yeah, he actually made flyweight in his last fight, which I like because he normally fought at 135 and 145, but he had a fight after Dana with Contender Series where he dropped to 125 and he fought there. So now that's his second time, which I like way more for him. But yeah, I mean, what do you want me to say? He's minus 700. I think he should be a big favorite, but yeah, he's probably going to knock this guy out. The difference between the two is I think Tao is a dog. I think he has very good cardio and he won't fuck off. He will be in your face and he has power. And, you know, I bet against him with Smith on Dana White Contender Series and he made a good account of himself. So, yeah, this guy, Rio Tirto, I mean, he's good in round one. He has decent grappling and his striking in round one looked to be all right. And, you know, Tao is not the best. He get hit a lot. So I think he's probably going to have success in round one, but he gas out as the fight extend. I don't think he do much with the wrestling when he get takedowns, and he's not a great finisher. And, you know, there's a fight on his record, and I don't remember which one it is. Let me just see. There's a fight where he clearly lost, and they gave that fight to him. It's oh, maybe it's not the right guy that I'm yeah, whatever. Maybe it's not the same guy that I'm thinking. That's weird because he has a fight where his cardio doesn't look as bad in decision, but there's also a fight where his cardio looked very bad as the fight extends. But the fight that it doesn't look bad, there's not much happening, and I can tell you that Tao is going to make him work. I think Tao grappling defense and takedown defense is actually pretty good, and he's not the best fighter on tapes, but I think he has very good hardware in the sense that, you know, he's going to be in your face, going to land big bombs, and you won't fuck off. And I just think he's going to break Tirto in round 2 and round 3. Again, it's a fight where we're not going to have props, but if we would have props, I think Tirto is going to compete early, but get finished later on. So round 2-3 KOs for Tao, but we're not going to get that. So I won't bet any money on that fight personally. I think Tao's going to win by KO and get probably in the UFC sooner than later, but I don't think he's that good, but he has some good tools in this game.
And he's an entertaining fighter.
Yeah.
All right, next fight is Jin Wei, the Blue Devil, versus Chang Min Yoon, the Big Heart. Odds in these two gentlemen: Chang Min Yoon is minus 160. Jin is plus 140. All right, I'm gonna go a little bit more in depth. This is my favorite bet of the card. I obviously, you know, tracked an opener, played an opener. I got plus 200 on Yoon.
Did you really track that?
Oh, of course I did.
My goodness, Peg. That line was there for 2 minutes.
Because I saw that and I was ready because I knew the books were going to look at this on paper and be like, oh, Yoon is going to be a dog here. And I knew after watching tapes and going deep, Yoon is like, he looks like Superman. He's chiseled. He also has experience in one fighting. And I'm pretty big on one. One's really good competition. Nothing's easy there. He's got way big grappling upside here. He's going to be able to sub. I think he subs Jin here. I think the grappling on levels difference on the ground. He throws heavy punches. He's been chinned before, but the guy he got chinned against, Kai Tang, this guy will be in the UFC at some point if one even decides to let him go. He's a filthy striker. He's got heavy hands. He's got great Muay Thai. If one lets him go, which they probably won't, he'll end up in the UFC. Great fighter. So no shame in losing. Huh?
15 KOs on that guy resume.
Yeah, he's filthy. So no shame in losing by knockout there. There's also a clean left hook across the jaw that caught him, knocking out anyone. But yeah, I think this is a clear Yoon sign, and obviously the line agrees with me. He opened up plus 200. I knew the books would do that. I bet it there, and now he was at one point he was minus 200. So yeah, Yoon's got to be the side here. Huge grappling upside on the ground. Can easily keep it standing on the feet as well. Very well-rounded, very good fighter. Very happy to back him at plus odds. Probably wouldn't play him at minus 200 though, to be honest.
He's minus 160 right now. Do you think it's still good? Or
I think that's fine. I think minus 160 is fine just because I think he's going to win by finish. I think he's going to sub him. But like I said, like I wouldn't. You could probably play him straight actually for like 2 units or something like that. I'd do $100 a unit, so I'd be like 2 units. So it's like 200 to win like 1.4 units, I think, something like that, if my math's correct. So yeah, I don't mind the minus 160 price. I wouldn't play the minus 200 on DraftKings though. What do you think?
All right. Yeah, I mean, this Jing Aoi guy, he's a decent striker. He has some power, but he's nothing special. And he lost striking fights before against bad competition. So yeah, he can get taken down and lose minutes off his back, which is a concern here because, yeah, like you said, I mean, Chang, I think is actually a pretty good fighter. I'm surprised he only has 1 KOs and been KOs 2 times though, because I think he has a good chin. And I also think that he has good power, but he only has 1 KO. So that's pretty good. And if you look when he got KO'd, it was against big hitters, like I kind of mentioned, and guys with a lot of KOs on their resume. So, and he was not easy to finish in those fights, by the way. After hurting him, you stay in there. So you really need to put that guy out if you want to finish him. And you compete with these guys, by the way, early on in the standing. And I think his striking is actually underrated and pretty solid. Like I said, underrated power. And I've seen Oi, his opponent, get hurt against guys that I don't rate personally. So yeah, the difference here is I believe that Chang is the better grappler, and he could dominate, like you said, on the ground and potentially submit him if you get on top. But on the feet, it's gonna be close. It's not like Jin is that much better on the feet. And I think both guys are like for a KO when it's on the feet. But yeah, I also think that Chang is the better athlete of the two, and I think he's going to find a finish, like you mentioned. The difference that with what you mentioned is personally, I need a better price to get involved. So we'll see where this line goes, but I think he win, and I agree with you that he's going to find a finish, and I also think that he's pretty solid. But we'll see though. We'll see where this line goes.
All right. Next fight, not much to say here. Midris Sakaya versus Agulialai. Yeah, people are gonna love the name breakdowns for this one. I think that this is the like the co-main event. This one, Agulialai or whatever it is minus 800 to minus 900. Midris Sakaya is plus 550. Clear setup fight. Agulialai is a very good fighter. I was really impressed with his tape. He can strike, he can wrestle, he's got heart, he's got cardio, does it all. I think this is a clear setup fight. He's probably going to knock this guy out in the first round. What do you think, Dravy?
Not much to say. I don't really know what to say here. I mean, the only thing I'll say is only 20 years old, so that's a bit concerning when you bet a guy that's minus 1,000 or something. But yeah, I think he should win. He should probably find a kill shot. But I didn't do a deep dive into this is fighter. Normally, people are kind of eye on fading Indian in this road to UFC tournaments, but normally the line is closer than that. So now it's like the market has adjusts, and he's a massive, massive underdog. So to me, it's just a fight where I think it's better to sit and not bet. But I think that whatever his name is, the guy that is 20 years old is going to win this fight.
All right, main event: Lee Kwien versus Seo Dong Hyun. So we'll call it Dong versus Kwien. Kwien, you guys should know him by now. He was on the road to UFC, and I think he lost to Yizha by sub, who's a very good wrestler, very good grappler. So no shame there. But other than that, he's a savage. He swings heavy punches, throws them over the top. He beats a lot of good fighters. He's got he can go for 15 minutes, very strong. These two guys are going to throw down very hard. I just did my breakdown. People don't realize Kai Wen is also a national ranked wrestler. So he's got the wrestling upside here if he wants to use it. I think it'd be positive, a good thing. But both these guys, Dong and Kwai, throw heavy punches and are going to stand on the feet. One difference is I think Dong is very hittable. Can't remember which fight it was on his record that I watched. And I was just like, I think I was like 2 fights in the tape. And I go, yep, Quine's going to knock him out. Just I saw how hittable he was and like his chin. He gets rocked. He kind of recovers pretty well. But I think it was Park maybe, or it was Kim. One of those two are the ones that knocked him out. But he's out of that Team Stun Gun, which is Team Stun Gun. Is that? It's not Korean Zombies Gym. It's Duho Choi's gym, right?
Not sure, bro, honestly.
Yeah, I think that's what Stun Gun is. But yeah, I think this is going to be If there was an under, I would play it, but there's not going to be. But I'm on Quian Lee. I played him at minus 180 for 2 units. I think he's got better experience. I think he throws heavier hands. He's more well-rounded. I think he's going to knock out Dong here. What do you think, Draw?
Yeah, you're probably right. I mean, K1, I think is pretty good, honestly. He has big power. He's also very fast. And the thing that I really spot on tapes personally is I think Dong at distance is all right in the striking. Like, you're probably going to compete at distance. But Dong in the pocket is so hittable, and the speed difference in close range going to be massive. And that's where K1 is best at, in the pocket. He's nasty with the powers and like the elbows and all the shot in close range that he can land. And I think he's going to land way quicker to the target. And like you said, we've seen this guy put out, but we also see this guy hurt in some fights that he's won. For example, his last fight, he got a KO. But if you watch that fight, you're gonna see
rocked.
He get dropped. Actually, he almost got finished, and then he came back and he got the KO. So that was pretty good to see. But at the same time, it's like this guy K1 hit harder than the guy that he got dropped against, and he's way faster than him. And he's not going to stay at distance and try to strike with him. The concern I have with K1 is he can be low volume, but at the same time, even when he's low volume and the fight goes to 15 minutes, he's still 6-1 to the decision because he win big moments in all of these fights. Like, he's going to win the big moments, and even if he doesn't finish him, he could hurt him for sure. So, yeah, I think he's the better fighter, way more experience, and I think he has a couple different ways to win this, and he's also 5 years younger. And again, I think he's faster and more power. So, yeah, I also believe that it's a good spot. The line should be probably wider. What is it's like minus 185 now? Yeah, I think it's probably a good spot here.
I think so.
I think he's a good fighter.
All right,
it's 200, but probably still
all
decent.
right. So now we are moving on to episode 3. This is going to be just writing down the times. I'm probably not going to do timestamps. I'm just going to do timestamps by episode for this one. So it's 46:30. All right, episode 3 opens up. It's Campbell versus Xiaogo Soto. Line on these two gentlemen, you can get Soto anywhere, or Sato, I'm sorry, Shogo Sato anywhere from plus 140 to plus 125. You can get Kit Campbell anywhere from minus one. He's pretty much minus 170 across the board. You all go watch this tape. Sato is probably the most fun tape to watch if you go back and watch tape. This guy is a wild man. Doesn't really have much technique. Doesn't do anything behind it. I was telling Drav, this is like he's just a brawler, and some people are just born to fight, and that's this guy Sato. He's like a Japanese Mike Perry. Like, he just is in there to fight. He's a dog. He swings heavy as hard as he can. He's trying to kill you with every shot. Kit Campbell, very well rounded, very good technique. He can wrestle. He can strike. He's a pretty good fighter. He's out of Australia for this one. The thing is, it's just like now you're getting a guy who wants to fight, willing to throw and bang. Kit Campbell can be hit. His defense is not good, but he's better, more well-rounded mixed martial artist. I'm going to take the dog shot here. I think just because, like I said, some people are born to fight. This guy Sato's game to fight. He's going to swing heavy. Campbell's kind of hittable, but don't be surprised if Campbell wrestles and takes over here. But other than that, I think Sato is probably the side. What do you think, Drav? You got anything here?
No, I didn't save this one yet, but with what you've seen and what I've heard, I'm probably gonna, tape that one and see what's up. It looked to be dog or pass with what you're saying, but I didn't.
You're gonna be like, wow, Kit Campbell's he has actual process. He's an actual mixed martial artist. But then you're gonna go watch Sato's film, and you're gonna be like, okay, I can see exactly what he's talking about. This guy just gets in your face and just swings for the fences. It's gonna be a good show.
I need to tape that. I know Sato's on short notice, though. It's like on a week notice or something.
Yeah, like 1 week or 2 weeks, something like that. Yeah. He doesn't need it. Like I said, he rolls out of bed and he's just ready to go. He just wants to fight. So love that for them. Next fight we have is going to be Jae-Hyun Park versus Jack Becker. Another guy from Australia versus Park. Line on these two gentlemen, you can get Park anywhere from plus 140 to plus 135. Becker's anywhere from minus 179 to minus 175. I think Jack Becker is going to win this fight. I think he's the overall better fighter, to be honest. But from a value perspective, I think probably dog or pass. Only because I can see Park maybe making it a little competitive, but Jack Becker's probably going to win a decision. That's probably how I think it goes. He's just the more well-rounded fighter. He's got a little bit more experience. He's got a pretty good fight IQ. Like, I'm happy with Jack Becker here. Minus 170. Minus 150. I'd play him. Minus 170. I'm a little less likely to. Did you tape this one or no?
Yeah, I did look into this one. It's not a fight that I think we should be betting, but honestly, it's kind of a tricky fight because, like you said, Baker is probably the better fighter, but there's also a lot of things that I don't like in his tape. Sometimes he can be all down, sometimes he can get hurt in these fights, and sometimes he's not a type of fighter that I really like to back at chalk, if that makes sense. So yeah, I mean, he's the better guy, but I think Park, he's the much younger guy. He's only 23, and he could make this fight a fight. You know what I mean? So it's like, and he's a decent sized underdog. But I think Baker should win with what I've seen. He's the better fighter overall, but he's 32. He's getting hurt. He's getting taken down. But I think his game overall has improved, and he's kind of a dog. So I like that. And, Park is not really proven yet. So I think Baker's way more experienced, way more proven. So, but at the same time, that's why he's older. So yeah, you know what I mean? I don't have a strong read on it. I did tape it, and I was like, yeah, it's probably better to just pass. But I think Baker's gonna win.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Next fight you have is going to be Kayua Ioto versus Zhang Sim. People should remember Zhang Sim. He was on the road to UFC. I can't remember if it was once or twice, or if he went deeper in the second competition. Line on these two gentlemen, you can get Zhang anywhere from he's minus 210 across the board. Ioto is plus 165. I like Zhang Sim here, probably to, I would guess, win a decision. Kind of medium confidence on that one. Things I liked about it, you go back and watch his tape because you can go watch Road to UFC. He lost to that guy Peter Danso. It was kind of a KO. It wasn't great, but if you go back, what I did like was his win over I think it's Chang Ho Lee is who he fought. Let me just take it before I misspeak. Yeah, Chang Ho Lee. If you guys remember him, he's the guy that just beat up Cortavius Romeus. Like, what was it?
Shout out to him.
Yep, shout out to him. I think we were on him, right?
I cashed round 2 at like 1,000.
I think I was just on him straight. I don't think I was on a round prop, but he also beat Long Zhao. So, like, he's a very good fighter, and he holds a win over him. So, yeah, that being said, I'm just going to lean Sim to probably win a decision. Probably pretty good amount. Very interesting because, these books, they opened up the line on Sim at plus 370 on Bet Online. He went all the way down to minus 250. Now he's back at minus 210. What do you think? You got anything on this?
No, I didn't tape. Like I said, episode 3 and 4, I have not really taped them, so I didn't look into this one.
Okay, so yeah, just tell me. Go with Sim. Trust me. It's free, right? Next fight, Yoei Ren versus Denny Dafa. To be honest, I did not look at this fight at all. It's an Indonesian fighter versus a guy from Ren from China. Line on these two gentlemen, I mean, Ren is minus 350. Dafa is plus 250. I mean, I don't really know what to tell you. I didn't tape it. Did you tape this one?
No, I did not. You wanted to episode 3 and 4, bro. So you better have something to say. I didn't want to do them. This
is the only one I really didn't get to on this episode, just because I just had no interest. Minus 350. I don't really feel like playing him. Maybe there's value there, but I guess leave in the comments below if there's value in your breakdowns on this fight. Next one is the main event. And it's our boy. It's talking about. If you remember him, his name is Peter Danaso. And he's fighting Serlang Gurbo. Odds on these two gentlemen. You get Serlang anywhere from plus 160 to plus 170. Peter Danaso is anywhere from minus 210 to minus 225. I think this is clear Peter side here, honestly. I think he's going to win by KO. Just a better kickboxer, good kicks, everything like that. Very good striker. Opponent, on the other hand, was not very impressed with the tape I saw on him. I think this is just another shot for Danaso to get into the UFC. I think these guys are going to go pretty far in the competition. Winner of this fight, but like I said, winner's probably going to be Peter Danso. Did you tape this one or no?
I just watched some highlights on the Peter. I think he's pretty good. He's a guy from Thailand, only 24 years old, but I don't like there's like some of these fighters are just so like such big favorites. It's kind of tricky, but yeah, I think he should handle business. But I didn't really look too much into this other guy, so I don't know too much about him. But yeah, Peter clearly seems like the better fighter with the little that I've seen, so he should probably win. You think he finish or?
Yeah, KO. I think he wins by
KO.
KO pretty handedly. Yeah. Should be pretty straightforward there. Next fight. So now we're starting episode 5. Let me just write down time.
Episode 4. There's 4
episode 4. Sorry, episode 4. All right. This is Rui Amura versus Van Ningheim Van versus Roy Amura. Odds on these two gentlemen. You can get. Let's see. Ryan Murrah is minus 220 to minus 200. Van Yam is plus 155. Me personally, this is tough. It's very hard to find tape on Murrah. It's a bunch of like highlights and stuff like that. He's a pretty good grappler. He's got pretty flashy submissions. So I think Roy Amura by sub here. Pretty confident on that one. What do you think? Do you have anything on this?
No, I didn't look into this one at all. I don't know.
All right. So I'm going to take him by sub and Mora by sub. Next one we got is let's see, where is this? It's Daicha Kamiya versus Sang-Woon Kim or Frogman. That's a funny. It's another funny nickname. Well, and these two gentlemen, it's a pick'em. Pretty much straight across the board on Bovada and BetOnline. I don't know what DraftKings has. I don't think DraftKings has episodes 3 and 4 yet on the book. On this one, I just started taping this before we hopped on here. I think Kamaya probably finds a sub here. If you look at his record, right, we'll do a little dive here. This is the one where this guy Quintana, he basically put himself into a twister, but it was a weird looking twister. For the guys who jiu-jitsu, twisters are relatively hard to hit, but Kamaya on the ground, rear naked chokes across the board. This is an illegal knee where he got kneed and it counted, or he got kneed and they gave him the win for it. But Kamaya is pretty good on the ground. Like I said, if you're setting up modified twisters, you're pretty good. On the other hand, this guy lost to Rong Zhu on road to UFC.
My boy.
Yep. And then he had I guess he won by Darce here, but yeah, I don't know. I think Kamaya by sub is pretty fair here. I'm going to do a little bit more tape. Minus 135 is interesting to me. If I can get down there and I like what I see, I'll probably be on Daicha here. You said you didn't get to that, right?
I've watched him because I've watched Rong Zhu tapes, so I've watched him against Kim. I don't think Kim is that bad. I think he's decent, but I don't know his opponent at all. So yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna try to.
He's a pretty good grappler.
He's a grappler, right? So yeah, I don't know him. I know Kim is decent, but yeah, I don't think he's all that.
Okay, next fight, Qinghai Zhang versus Lawrence Louis. I think it would be. Odds on these two gentlemen, you can get Louis anywhere from -1. He's minus 175. Zhang is plus 135. This one I didn't get to taping, to be honest with you. Well, let's take a look what we got here.
Yeah, I'm gonna look into this Louis guy. I think he's a city kickboxing guy from New Zealand.
Yeah, he is. He is a city kickboxing guy.
I want to tape. I want to tape that fight. That's the next I'll do when we stop recording.
I'll do the same, and then I'll come back and go do Daicha Kamaya. But yeah, I think you gotta go with Louis here. City kickboxing usually has their fighters relatively prepared. Zhang, I'm trying to see. One Pride. I like, guys, just so you know what I'm looking for is just organizations that I know I've seen. He doesn't like his record doesn't look that good. We'll look into him. One guy he fought, it just says Richard. That's all it says his name is Richard.
The GOAT.
Yeah, so Yeah, probably gonna lean Louis, but like I said, join our Discord. I'll be putting my bet. If I take it, I'll put it in there. We can also talk road to UFC if we want. Open to doing that. Next fight here. Okay, this fight is gonna be sick. I did a little bit of taping into this. It's Dom Marfan, Street Buddha versus Yannick Fboviga. The chef, a little bit interesting. He's from Japan. He's half black, so he looks like that. He looks like he's black, and he's from Japan, which people are gonna be like, "What?" But nope, he is. He's very good. So is Dom Marfan though, and these guys are. Dom Marfan is in Eternal MMA. I think he was at City Kickboxing. Now he's at Team Compton Training Center. This is going to be a very good fight. It's going to be a banger. I think the line on this one, Fawn is plus 345 and Foviga is minus 450. I think Fawn is being very overlooked here. I think that his striking is very real. Yeah, Afiga has a better ground game than Don Marfan. Don Marfan's got like that karate type style kickboxing thing going on. So odds are with at minus 400, Ofiga should probably win by submission. But I don't know. I got to look more into this because I think, like I said, I think the line should be closer. I'm going to look again, but at plus 350, why not put a flyer on Dom Marfan? Maybe he gets a highlight KO. And then you're happy. You got a highlight KO ticket in your hand. Yeah. Did you look at this or no?
Yeah, I mean, I know Dom Marfan because he got beaten by my guy Sal Kid twice. So
He
not a
fought
bad
him
loss.
twice, and he couldn't deal with the wrestling. I remember that in both
Yeah,
fights.
he got broken, but that's what Sal Kid's gonna do to you. That's his style, though. So I don't hold these losses against him too much, and that's that's the only time he lost. So
And he's your
I don't
goat,
think
so
it's
he
about.
lost your goat twice.
Yeah, that's my goal. So I don't think that's about. I don't think that's bad losses at all. And I think the guy is decent. I don't think he's a bad fighter, but I don't know his opponent. So that's another one I want to tape and see what I do after.
Yeah, if you go back and look at Viga, let's go. I'll drag you guys over here. Take a scroll down. He's got 3 subs, 6 KOs, so he's a finisher. Rear naked, ground and pound, sleeper hold. Yo, I don't think I've ever seen a sleeper hold finish. That's kind of crazy. I thought it was a WWE move at one point. Yeah, pretty good fighter. I mean, 20 and 23, 22 and 9, 14, 11, 30 and 22. I don't know. I think this is a dog shot here, to be honest, but don't be surprised if Ofiga finds the sub. Main event for this card is this is Z Bin versus Kongjai Zhu or Zhu Kongji.
Look at that. Look at these nicknames.
The Stalker versus the Hypnotist or One Punch Man. I guess you could decide which one you go by.
I'm gonna have to tape this one.
Yeah, it's Zbin is plus 113 to plus 110. Zhu is anywhere, or Kangji Zhu is anywhere from minus 145. Yeah, he's about minus 145 across the board. Looking at these two gentlemen, I think this is gonna be a very close fight. I think it's aligned relatively accurate. Zbin, I believe he was on Contender Series or on Road to UFC. Yeah, like look, he's got a bunch of wins on Road to UFC already. I can't remember. Wasn't he supposed to fight in the final and backed out?
I'm not sure, but Ben Z was on Dana White Contender Series a couple years ago, and he lost.
Yes, he was. He lost to Jung Young Lee.
Zhu,
the Korean Tiger. He lost to Korean Tiger.
Zhu was on Road to UFC, but they were supposed to fight last year actually, and Zhu got injured.
So yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna go Bin Z by decision, but like I said, I think it's gonna be a very close fight. I think it's gonna go the distance. Both these guys are pretty good, to be honest. Kongji Zhu, he was also Road to UFC. He's the guy who beat Shin Haraguchi. Yo, we bet Shin Haraguchi. Didn't we bet him against, because he's Nose, right? They call him Nose or whatever.
No, that's not the same guy.
It's a different guy.
Yeah, Aruchi's like a small wrestler that's gonna shoot a million takedowns.
Where
I
did I
bet
bet him?
against Aruchi. I bet Rong Zhu against him last year.
Gotcha. That's what it was. I can't remember where I got him. I bet him at some point too. Yeah, we are road to the UFC fanatics here. But yeah, guys, that's the whole card. Kept it about an hour, went through all 4 episodes. You won't find this anywhere else on YouTube. Sorry, we couldn't provide you with more bets for episode 4, more specifically. 3, we kind of got some of them down. We had some tapes and some. But hey, guys, you want to come talk fights? You want to get the bets that we do after we tape these last 2 cards more in depth? Join our Discord. Link's going to be in the bio. Obviously, Dravby, you could join his OddsShopper. It's below.
Yeah,
That
I'm gonna
is another
finish.
way.
I'm gonna finish tapes today. By the way, I have like 3 more fights I want to look into, and then I'll post all my bets on Odd Shoppers. If you guys want to, last year I was checking my results. I went 4 for 4 on my bet, so I swept the boards on the road to UFC. But this year I'm gonna have maybe 4 or 5 bets. I'm not sure yet, but I have 3 locked in already, and we'll see what happened. But last year I did pretty good. So yeah, I'm looking to keep the streak going on these road to UFC fights. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But excited to have some fights because no UFC.
Yep.
I already played 2 big bets for the next UFC card. So if you guys want that, let me know. Line's probably gonna move. And yeah, this next UFC card doesn't look that good, but there's some decent spots that
You
I
could
think
bet.
need to bet early. So yeah.
And then, yeah. So, guys, that's the show. Again, like, comment, subscribe. That's how you support us the best. And again, you want to come talk fights. You want to see my free picks. They're guys, they're behind paywall. Don't go look at Key's profile. Don't look at his link. His link won't be below since he was not present. Actually, his will be there because I copy and pasted every episode. So his link will be there. I don't know if he's doing Road to UFC. I think he said he's going to try and get into it. But
Yeah,
I think they're pretty much.
I think he wants to probably take a bet or two, but I'm not sure you will take.
So
We'll
yeah, so we'll pitch it for him. You could join his too as well. He'll give you a discount. If he loses any of his road to UFC bets, he'll give you free trial for a month because he's not here, and that's his punishment for taking vacation. But all right, guys, I'm your host, PicksByPegasus. Dravy's here. These fights are in the morning for us. I think they're at 7 o'clock and 10 o'clock. So we're
Yep.
gonna know how we did by noon. So should be interesting, should be fun. I'll be up early watching. I'm sure Drav will too. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you next week for our Apex card. All right, guys. Peace.